morning, students. The last class we have discussed about evaluation of emulsions stability. So there we have studied what exactly the difficulty to maintain the thermal stability, what are the factors, so can emulsion stability may varies, and how we can make them stable by uh, solving that all the consideration. So we'll see some of the evaluation parameters with respective of stability of emulsions, like thermal stress, in that aging and temperature, phase inversion temperature, then gravitational stress is the study we will do to see the stability, and then finally the agitation process we can do for to see the stability of the emulsion. So what is this thermal stress, aging and temperature is nothing but at what temperature the emulsion may get unstable, that we can predict by gradual increase in the temperature or by at a particular temperature for keeping at a long duration how much extent they may remain stable. Aging is the time period at what extent we can store, after that it may get to be unstable. So the stability will remains at what extent when we are putting and produced emulsion, particular time interval is called aging. Next is phase inversion temperature. Phase inversion temperature means what? The phase will be inverted as we have studied earlier. Suppose if it is oil in water type of emulsion, it may changes into water in oil type of emulsions. The factors we have discussed already. So many, the ratio between the phases, so many factors will be there to change the phase. So that phase inversion temperature, at what exact temperature this the other factors will influence and change the phase of the emulsion. So that may be with respective of the temperature is important. Any material if having an highest PIT is nothing but not the same phase inversion temperature, will have an less coalescence factor, so maintain its stability maximum. So ultimately PIT, if it is more, that is the more stable emulsion. If PIT is less, then almost there will be unstable emulsion is. Then emulsions of emulsion stability, we have studied about the most important thing here is the gravitational stress. So what we will do is in the centrifugation we will do apply an centrifugal force that has to be rotated at a particular speed like 3750 rpm in a 10 centimeter radius centrifuge. So sample will be put into n tubes in the centrifuge, which will be rotated at a speed of 3750 rpm. If it is rotates that much, and we'll see if it will be stable, then at what hours, at what extent it will be remain stable. See here we have for a period of 5 hours, if it will do it the same thing, that is equal to how much? About 1 year. So if after 5 hours by rotating it 3750 rpm in a centrifuge, and we will see there is an instability, the phase separation will takes place, then within a year it will be get unstable. Even though with this application it will not changes its phase or its stability or phase separation will not takes place, then they will be stable more than the year. So this is how we can be evaluate for to study the emulsion stability in terms of gravitational stress. Next is the agitation process. So to understand agitation, we have to agitate with a mechanical stirrer or any other media. The simple way you need to understand how we can agitate is the buttermilk. So butter we will get from the milk. How we will get? Just by agitating it, mixing with the, what happens exactly there, the particles of the milk will go on colliding with each other, coalescence will takes place, that leads to what? The either the precipitation or the separation of the phase will takes place. So that stress will be applied with the agitation process by mechanical way with a particular speed, that we can see at what extent the emulsion will remains the stable, and how it will be get unstable to a particular level of its process. Impingement is nothing but the droplet will mix with another. Impinging one with another is called impingement. So that is will leads to coalescence and leads to separation and leads to instability. And this is also related to impingement of droplet, and in part 2 reduction of viscosity for a normal thixotropic system. You know what exactly thixotropic is? Nothing but what, whenever we will be, when pressure is applied, stress is applied, when we remove the stress, at what extent it will come back to its original position. That is called thixotropic system. Is if it is varies with the path length when we applied and when we removed, then there is an elasticity is there, that is called negative thixotropy, or it is called a thixotropic system. And so this is what all about the studies we are going to do with respective of evaluation of emulsion stability. So what are the parameters we can see with respective of that we can conclude their stability. Space separation we have seen, viscosity as we have discussed just now, and some electrophoretic property as charge associated with will matters for their separation. Zeta potential will see, that is what nothing but concerned with the charge only. Electrical conductivity will matters, and dielectric constant is one of the most important measurement. With respect of that only the particle size number analysis will do, and chemical parameters will see for their evaluation of an emulsion for their stability aspect. So this is what all about the emulsion. Now we'll see about the suspension. What exactly the suspensions are. Emulsions, what we have discussed till now, they are nothing but what we have studied. They are the biphasic liquid dosage form, as how we have explained. So here the suspension is also in biphasic liquid dosage forms only. Slight difference between them is the one phase which is dispersed here almost solid particles. In that two immiscible liquids, one is dispersed in another. Here one is dispersed is almost solid particles. So that is what it is also called in biphasic. One is solid, one is liquid. In emulsion one is liquid, another one is also almost liquid. So here we will study what the definition of it, classification, advantages and disadvantages, what are their application, and theoretic consideration of suspensions, and we will study what sedimentation process is, what is Brownian movement, electrokinetic properties. As I told, the formulation of suspension, packing of suspension, storage requirement will see, and we have to see the evaluation of suspensions. Distribution studies comes under evaluation. Innovation of suspension, different types of model suspensions are available nowadays for the process of proper therapy condition. So what they are, as we have discussed, they are two phases dispersed system. Dispersed phase is distributed in discrete unit throughout a second substance is nothing but that is the continuous phase. So each phase exists in solid, liquid or gaseous state. Suspensions are heterogeneous system. Why? Because consisting of two phases, the one phase will have more than one kind of state. Here you can see aqueous oily liquid may also there in dispersed media, and dispersed phase insoluble solids they will have. So that's why it is heterocyclic, hetero components. So it is nothing but a coarse dispersion in which internal phase the active ingredient is dispersed uniformly throughout the external phase. So what is the main thing here is the size will matters here. The solid, what I told, the dispersed phase, dispersed in a continuous phase, the size of what will be matter here, that is insoluble solid particles will varies around 0.5 to 5 microns will be the size of the dispersed particle, solid dispersed particle in an continuous phase along with one particular suspending vehicle. As in emulsion we are using emulsifying agent for to maintain the stability. Here also to maintain stability we are using some of the suspending agents are called suspending vehicles. So the external phase is aqueous in some instance, may be an organic or it may be oily liquid for non-oral use also. Why we can go for suspension Almost all the formulations will have their own advantages with respective of their solubility, bioavailability, their administration process, and avoid their bitterness of a particular drug. So we'll see here what these formulations will have benefits like insoluble in the delivery vehicle. Such kind of drug we can form into a suspensions, and obviously to mask the bitter taste and to increase the stability aspect. That is what mean whenever we will prepare a drug or in any dosage form, ultimately till the production to and till the consumption, it has to be show its therapeutic action desired value until it will be when we will consume. So it has till that pace, it has to remain stable. That will be matters. That's why we are trying different dosage form, and also some other administration process also matters here. And especially for a controlled and sustained drug release system, this suspension parameter also used. What is this controlled and sustained drug release in the sense? Controlled release in the sense what? Usually when we take any dosage form, the dose will be dissolved, disintegrate, distribute, metabolize or absorbs by their own the specification like their property with respective of the pH of the where it has to be get dissolved, and also with the respective of whatever the drug we have to prepare in such a way dosage form that it will release not according to what the nature of the drug property. We can make it in such a way that it has to release in a such a way controlled manner. Like suppose it will be dissolved in 4 hours, we will make it to dissolve in 20 hours. So can increase its bioavailability. So that is how is controlled. Sustain is nothing but same almost. So controlled means at what extent dose we can control. Sustain means the release should be maintained in a sustained way, so can we get a long treatment process. And pharmaceutical suspensions, what we generally we are using, will have an antacid oral suspensions available. Most of the things is pediatric drugs are given in terms of suspensions only. When paracetamol tablets is available for pediatric, almost suspensions, paracetamol suspensions are there. Either in terms of syrups you will get it. And antibacterial oral suspensions are available. Dry powders for oral suspensions. Analgesic oral suspensions are used. Anthelimantic oral, anticonvulsant oral, antifungal oral suspensions are there. So many other also tremendous amount of dosage forms. The suspension dosage forms are used for wide variety of treatment. Now we'll see the classifications of suspensions. They are classified based on different parameters. So we'll see one by one based on the general classes. Simply either we can take it oral suspension, it is called oral suspension, or for external application it is called externally applied suspension. Now for example, for oral suspension, as we have discussed all in the earlier this one, all they are oral suspensions only. So these are all comes under oral suspensions. Then here it is externally applied suspension specific, this lacto-calamine lotion. Calamine lotion we can use to apply to the skin for the betterness of skin process. And also some of the suspensions we are used in to produce it in a parenteral system. It will be like procan penicillin, insulin zinc suspension will be given in terms of parenteral route. And based on the proportion of solids present over there, as I told, the solid will be varies from 0.5 to 5 micrometer, and concentration of that solid dispersed phase in a continuous phase in a suspension. Based on that, this separation will be did. Like dilute suspension means suspension will have very less concentration of dispersed phase. It will be around 2 to 10% weight by volume of solids, like cortisone acetate, prednisolone acetate are the diluted suspensions they are. You can see the market one PT, Prafa is there, cortisone acetate it will have inside. It is a suspension. Will have only 2 to 10% of weight by volume of solid particles in that. if it is diluted, and if it is concentrated, the concentration will varies around 50% of weight by volume. Solid will have as a dispersed phase, like zinc oxide suspensions we will use. And based on their electrokinetic nature of solid particles, they may be classified into flocculated suspension and deflocculated suspensions. Flocculated suspension and deflocculated having so many properties that we can see detail later. Just you can see with respective of electrokinetic nature, it may be classified. And based on the what the solid particle size, it is the most important one here. Emulsions and suspensions, ultimately the dispersed oil globules or solid particles, their size range will matters. Even in emulsions also we have discussed about the micro emulsions are there, nano emulsions are there. So that is all related to dispersed particle size. Here also based on the particle size dispersed, the suspensions may be classified into colloidal suspension, coarse suspension, and nano suspension. You can see what is this colloidal suspension is nothing but will have a particle size less than 1 micron, and coarse means will have more than 1 micron particle sizes, whereas nano suspensions will have very less particle size, like it is 10 nano or micrometer, they have 1 micrometer, it will have the particle size. So this is how we have classified the suspension. Let us see some of the advantages of suspension. As you see in this blue, which one is the better one when compared with the liquid dosage forms. From the solution, immediate next we have the suspension. So whatever the solution advantages are there, almost all will be available in suspension forms. So what are those? We'll see. It will obviously improve chemical stability of certain drug, especially like procaine, penicillin G. And a drug in suspension obviously will available in maximum concentration. Bioavailability will be higher when we can taken it in terms of suspension than any other dosage forms. And duration, onset of action is always be controlled. That's why it is main advantages. The controlled release or sustained release we can achieve by making the drug in a particular suspension dosage form, especially of protamine, zinc, insulin suspension. Suspensions can mask the unpleasant bitter taste of drug, especially for chloramphenicol. Some of the disadvantages we have, that is what the main thing, flocculated and deflocculated parameters are matter here for. It is one main note we will write in the suspension dosage form. Whenever you will take suspension, you can see it will be mentioned shake well before use. Why they will be tell it? Because if you will not shake it, it will be get sediment out, so you will not get the drug, only you will get the excipients used. So to get it distribute uniformly the dispersed solid particle in a continuous phase. So that is what the major problem disadvantages associated with the suspension. It is bulky sufficient obviously, so to carrying is the major problem. Handling and transport is biggest issue. Almost most of the suspensions we will get into a bottle, either in glass container or in any plastic container. So other dosage form than that, this liquid dosage forms always will have an transport and carrying issues. Other than that, uniform and accurate dose we can't be predicted, like the tablet. When we will take one tablet, we can say exactly it is 200 mg or 500 mg, 4 mg, like that. But suspension, with the respective of the spoon you need to take, tablespoonful, teaspoonful, you should be know very well knowledge about what is teaspoonful will have and dosage form. And along with that, the shaking, as I told, if you will take the upper portion without shaking it with the respect of the spoon, not even a single dose also you will get it with. So these are the few disadvantages are associated with the suspensions. We'll see some of the applications are for drug which is insoluble, we can go for the suspensions. and to prevent degradation of drug or to improve stability of drug, oxytetracycline suspensions, to mask the taste as we discussed earlier, and to form topical applications also. So this is what all about the suspension. Rest of the things we'll see in another class. Thank you.